You.
All righty. President Trump this week hinted at plans for his historic meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
We're having very substantive talks with North Korea, and a lot of things have already happened with respect to the hostages, and I think you're going to see very good things. As I said yesterday, stay tuned. I think you're going to be seeing very, very good things. And also, the trip is being scheduled. We now have a date, and we have a location. We'll be announcing it soon.
This as we wait for the release of 3 Americans that the president was alluding to, held captive in North Korea for years. The detainees, Tony Kim, Kim Hak, and Kim Dong-chul, have reportedly been moved from North Korean labor camps to a hotel near the capital, Pyongyang. So when will these Americans finally make it home, many ask. Joining me now, Bruce Klingner, senior research fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Thanks for being with us here, Bruce. And what does that look like from what you know of the way North Korea works and the limited data that we have today?
Well, certainly keeping the 3 Americans detained would be an impediment to a positive summit. So whether they release them so that President Trump can bring them home on Air Force One from wherever the summit will be, or whether they release them prior to that to create more of a positive momentum, we don't know. But certainly they will be released either before or during the summit.
Where are we in this debate of back and forth, and both Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump are masters of their respective messages, shall we say. And right now, the North Koreans are warning, be careful, United States, about the way you're posturing, the way we may be coming to the table. In that, they're saying the United States is saying that because they put on political pressure and because of President Trump's acumen, that they've been able to get to the table. They don't like to hear that in North Korea.
Right, and I think really it's a perfect storm of factors. You know, on the U.S. side, sort of the hawks, the doves, and the pythons will all say success. The hawks will say it's because of the threats of war. The doves will say it was you finally taken advice of go back to diplomacy. And the pythons, who advocated squeezing North Korea through sanctions, will say it's only because we recently had more of a maximum pressure. But even that's a bit too U.S.-centric. People will point to South Korean President Moon Jae-in's very energetic, perhaps overly energetic, outreach to the North. And certainly Kim seems different from his father, if only in the last few months. And then really North Korea's claim, at least, of having a nuclear ICBM enables them to come into a negotiating room with a feeling of equality, perhaps even superiority. And then even just the factor that the Olympics were in South Korea this year sort of enabled some of these dominoes to start falling. So on the one hand, we've seen all or most of these kind of announcements in the past, and they failed through previous diplomatic negotiations. But this does feel different a bit this time. We really are in uncharted waters right now.
Is it because you see both North and South part of this conversation, this triangularity, if you will, added to the discussion? Before it was China that was the major arbiter of progress.
Well, in the past, there were 2 inter-Korean summits in 2000 and 2007. And even before that, there were inter-Korean joint statements in 1972 and 92. So what we saw in the Panmunjom Declaration was really kind of plagiarized boilerplate of lifting a lot of the same language. Now, either that's a positive affirmation of getting back to square one, or it shows that it's still the same kind of language, the same kind of pledges by North Korea, which Pyongyang didn't abide by in the past. So in a way, I think what President Moon did was, by not really pressing North Korea on denuclearization, he set the table for the more important issues you know, to be handled during the U.S. North Korean summit.
Move that to a later stage of the discussion, potentially. Hey, Bruce, thank you. Bruce Klingner, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Coming up in our next hour, fixer-upper. Rudy Giuliani goes back on air to defend conflicting claims about President Trump's former fixer. But did this latest interview do more harm than good?